Good morning. Welcome to Tennessee Valley this morning. I'm your host, Michelle Baker, and I have with me again the wonderful Bruce Bradford.
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
Hello. Yes.
Thank you for getting up so early again and hanging out with me.
That's not a problem at all.
Yeah,
I'm glad
whatever.
to.
Listen to him. Listen to him.
As long as my wife doesn't mind getting up early and making biscuits and gravy, it's not a problem.
Oh, no. I don't see her doing that.
Yeah, sure. Eggs, French toast, whatever I want. And then I wake up, the alarm goes off, and I have to go fix cold cereal. It's all in a dream.
I was going to say it's
Never
a dream.
happens. Never happens after 19 years.
It's funny. Well, mine and my husband's 22nd, let me think, 22nd wedding anniversary is this Saturday.
Oh, man.
And for years and years and years, he's a great cook. I'm really happy I married a man who could cook because I could not cook at all when we got married. Nothing. I mean, the first time I breaded chicken, I breaded it in cornmeal instead of flour. I really did.
Wow.
It was really bad. But for years, he wanted me to get up every Saturday, and he was going to teach me how to bake biscuits.
Yeah.
This went on for months and months and months. Finally, one Saturday morning, I looked at him and I said, no, I'm not doing it. And he said, why? I said, I don't have to know how. You know how. And if anything happened to you, I can buy the canned biscuits or I can buy the frozen ones. I'm fine. So I still, to this day, do not know how to make homemade biscuits and gravy.
Well, I can make them with like that pre-mixed stuff, but I can't make them from scratch
No. And all the kids, my house is the house that all my kids' friends wanted to hang out at. They all call them love biscuits because they're so good that they have to be made with love.
Oh, and well, I can't get the gravy to come out.
I never can either. You could slice mine like me.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It is
Exactly.
so bad.
Like, it's so easy. You just need to make a roux. And I'm like, what is a roux?
What is a roux? Well, my daughter's in culinary school. So,
No.
yeah, she's in culinary school. So she is all the time, of course, she makes Daddy's Love biscuits and then she makes Daddy's this and that and the other. But now, my fried chicken rocks.
There you go.
I make good fried chicken. Maybe I'll make him fried chicken for our anniversary.
That's, I think he would love that.
He probably would, especially since he had a heart attack in October. And that's the most heart-healthy food you can eat, is just good old Southern fried chicken.
Oh, man, I love it.
Oh, I do too.
I could eat it
every
day. I could eat it for breakfast. I had that for breakfast.
I actually did have that for breakfast over the weekend.
Wow.
But I was at the river. Anybody knows me knows I'm a river girl. I'm a boater. So I was at the river this weekend and woke up on Saturday morning and had leftover KFC and thought, that looks great. I think I'll just do that. Because Rob had gone trout fishing up on the Hiwassee. So,
really?
Way up there. Yeah, he does the waders and the whole bit.
Uh-huh.
So he enjoys doing that.
That'd be fun. Yeah, man. We had a speaker recently at Kiwanis. Well, I always mention Kiwanis a little bit. That was talking about the trout, the mountain brook trout, and everything being so rare. So when you're talking about it, that just reminded me all of a sudden of that part of it because all I do is the rainbow trout. Maybe I wish we had somebody that could maybe tell us about waterway stuff.
Well, funny you should mention that,
Yeah,
Bruce,
do you know of anybody?
Because one of the guests on our show today is Barry Baird, and he is with TWRA. He is their boating officer. And he is going to come on and talk about boating. I don't know that a lot of people realize, when you think about being on a boat, and it's fun. It's loads of fun. It's great fun. Yeah. But I don't know that people realize how scary, not scary, but how safe you have to be on a boat. So, I'll give you an example. We were out yesterday, and we're just riding upriver, riding along in the boat. And I look behind us, and there's a jet ski probably 15 feet behind our boat.
Whoa.
Just right behind us. Then he slows down and he starts jumping over our wakes. Of course, we scream at him and shoo him off and all that. But that can just be very dangerous. And so the water's meant for fun, but you got to be safe. So
maybe we can ask about those trout too, though. I'm wondering about that.
I bet he would know a little bit about trout.
You know
I'm
more
pretty
than me,
sure.
But do you trout fish yourself?
I do trout fish.
Excellent.
I have. But the only thing is my husband always wanted to go up to Tellico to go trout fishing.
Okay.
Well, up there you have to get there so early to get your rock on the side of the river that I decided that I didn't want to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and sneak up on the fish in the dark.
It's not fair
so,
to the fish.
So I
take a nap,
So I stay home now and let him and the kids go. And
that's nice.
It's good daddy-kid time,
Do you cook the fish or does he do this?
I do not eat trout.
Okay.
I am not a freshwater fish girl. I want seafood fish, saltwater fish. I'm not a freshwater fish.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, there is something else that I do really, really like.
Yeah.
And those are fried apple pies.
Oh man, you were talking about breakfast a minute ago. Made me think about that.
And our other guest this morning
Yeah.
is Chuck McSpadden from Apple Valley Orchard. Is that right?
Yes,
Is that
that's
right?
correct.
Okay.
That's right.
And
Right here in Bradley County.
Yeah, and he has brought us some fried apple pies.
No way.
And I am so excited. I can't stand it. So,
Man, fantastic. So that is good. So we are ready for. Why did I even bother to eat breakfast this morning?
I don't know. Your cold
If
cereal.
I had known
you know.
those were coming, doggone man. Well, this is perfect. Now you've got me all starving thinking about trout with biscuits and fried pies.
I know, and
That
I
sounds
wish
like a
we
good
had
breakfast.
some coffee in here this morning.
I
That'd
know.
go
One of
perfect
these
with
years
coffee.
we're going to remember to do that.
I know it's.
We could
I
hide it right
know.
behind this flower, and people out there would never know.
They would never know. Yeah, they'd know.
They would
would
figure
know.
it
They
out.
call in and
That's
tell
good.
Kim and Joe that we're acting up on on
Oh,
on
yeah, that's
camera
true.
and everything. Speaking of Kim and Joe,
Yeah.
today is their 35th wedding anniversary. So happy
30.
anniversary, guys.
5 years. My goodness
know.
gracious.
Isn't that
Kim does not
awesome?
look old enough to have been married that long.
Oh, it was yesterday. They're yelling at me. It was yesterday.
Oh, I thought it was
it was
today.
today. Okay, well, anyway, they're celebrating their 35th wedding anniversary. You get a week for that.
Yes.
You know, you don't just get a day. You get to celebrate the whole week, because it's like my birthday. I don't have birthday days anymore.
Uh-huh.
I have birthday weeks. So
Yeah.
you get to celebrate the whole week, guys. So happy anniversary. Belated.
Fantastic.
Enjoy it. Celebrate for the whole week. You
We need to
deserve
give
it.
her a plaque or a statue or something for putting up with them that many years. What
Yes,
do you
we
think?
do.
Something along those
Yes,
lines.
we do. Kim, you deserve it.
Now, I know 25 is silver,
Right?
50 is gold. So
Right.
is 35 like polyester or what is 35? Not sure.
I don't know.
What he's getting her. Something special, I bet. Yeah.
I'm sure he is. Oh, God.
They say satin sheets. Whoops. Can we say that on television?
Oh, gotta love Kim and Joe. Happy anniversary, guys. I'm
Happy
gonna
anniversary.
stop that one right there. So let me just I heard you just got back from a trip.
Yes, we went up to Niagara Falls.
Oh,
First time in my life I've ever been. It was a blast.
really?
Yeah,
I've
we
always
had a good
wondered if it's
time.
really as spectacular as you think it would be.
It is. It was beautiful. We went to what everybody calls the Canadian side.
Right.
And saw the entire Horseshoe Falls, and it was beautiful.
Really?
And and of course at night they light it up. If I had it to do over again, I would only get a falls view for one night instead of 3 like we did, and saved
Right.
about $200. But we still went just before tourist season started, so
Yeah.
But it was beautiful.
That is
it was really neat.
amazing.
And the really cool thing, for the first time to celebrate I think it was the 25th anniversary of the Relay for Life, they made them purple the first
Oh,
night they lit
wow.
the Falls, which was really neat because
Yeah.
my history there. So
Yeah.
as a cancer survivor, so that's pretty cool.
That is
Because
cool.
everybody back home was like, "Wow, they turned the falls purple." I was like, "Well, we were wondering why they were one color. What are you talking about?" But it is really neat. But it is so much fun if you go. If you ever go to Niagara Falls, and I'm sure most of our audience may have been already, but to those who may go someday, you must ride the Maid of the Mist. If you do nothing else there, ride the Maid of the Mist.
Maid of the Mist.
It is the boat that goes up to the
Yeah.
falls, and it is so much fun. It was
Really?
and a little tip just for Cleveland people. If you watch from Table Rock when the boat goes up to the falls, you'll notice it doesn't just go straight in, it kind of veers to the left. So you want to be on the starboard side. So let everybody else fight for the very front because they think they're going to be right by the falls and say, "Oh, that's fine, I'll stand over here." Then when it turns, you're the one with the head-on view and you get soaked.
And you get soaked.
You do.
There's your inside tip for when you go to
There we
Niagara
go.
Falls.
See right there, that was worth the whole program right there.
It was.
Yes.
We should start like a tourist, because it's vacation
Yes,
time.
absolutely. We
We
did
can-
Rock City last time.
Yeah, we
this
did
time
Rock
we're doing
City
Niagara
last
Falls, so
time.
no telling where we'll have gone by next time.
That's right. Yeah, the last time you were here, my sister we'd met in Chattanooga, and I went to Rock
Yes.
City for the first time. Well, she was just here this past weekend again. She came
Yeah.
up, and we spent the weekend on the river with, her
That's
and
been
her.
2 months ago. I just realized that
I
was April.
know.
Everyone in the TV land's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
It's been 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
That
and
is great.
So we got to spend some time with her and my brother-in-law Mike and two of my a niece and a nephew.
Well, how is it going? Because I know that was special for your
It's
sister.
very, very special. It was wonderful. Wonderful.
Outstanding.
We
So
had a
you had time
really
with her.
good time. We stayed on the boat all day.
Yeah,
so
you look like you've been
getting
out
a,
in the sun.
getting a little tan.
Man.
So,
I thought it was from fishing, but apparently
No, it's just being on the boats.
Okay. Safe boating, we hope
Safe
too.
boating, absolutely safe
Maybe he'll
boating.
have a quiz for you in a minute to see if you were really a safe
Well,
boater.
you know, I took the test last week, the boating license test.
Yeah.
I did that. We did, my daughter, myself, a good friend of ours, and their son took the
Okay.
test.
Yeah.
You know, I just wanted to know. You know,
Yeah.
I'd never taken the class. I thought, you know, maybe I'm really missing something. Sure. You know, in a lot of, I think boating is just, it's really common sense, but, you know, you've got to know the rules and and I'm not going to say I know them all, because you don't, but.
Well, it's similar to driving. I'm sure he may say something about this, but don't drink and boat, my goodness.
Oh, gosh, no.
And or drive the boat at the very least.
Yeah.
And I've never understood why anybody would take other people's lives in hand like that.
Oh, I know. It can be really, really scary. Really
but
scary.
I'm excited. This is a great program today.
I know it. I'm really excited to have
Man.
this too. And we always, you know, you mentioned Kiwanis a minute ago. We always plug Kiwanis.
Sure.
You know, we had TWRA at Kiwanis last week as a speaker.
That's
so
right.
It was really a good program. But we've got a talent show coming up in September.
We sure do. It is just now getting out, but we plan to have a really good time there, just of people from all around town coming in. And we hope to have a special twist on it that we can't just reveal just yet. But
See, I don't even know what this twist is, and I'm in the club.
There we go. We're in talks with a couple of key folks. Now, we don't have the Duck Dynasty people coming or anything like that. I don't want to get rumors
I
started.
was all excited.
Yeah, for real. It's nothing like that. But we do want it to be a good, fun evening for the community.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to do it during the week because everything, especially in the fall, happens on Friday or Saturday.
Friday or Saturday.
And if you're like me, of course, you're watching your football on Friday and Saturday, high school or college or pro. So, but that will be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Will be
We'll have more
fun.
details for you next month.
We'll keep you up on that. All right. Well, we have a really good show for you today. Stick around, hang around with me and Bruce, and we'll talk about boating and apple pies and all kinds of good stuff. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Are you having trouble filing for disability?
Seems no one is concerned about your pain, the waiting, the denials.
While some representatives will meet with you in court, we will meet with you now to discuss your plan. We'll review with you the same file that the judges will see. Call us now. Social Security Law Center at Logan Thompson.
You're entitled to better.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley this morning. I'm your host, Michelle Baker, with my co-host, Bruce Bradford, who is very bright and green, I have to say today. I like the green.
It's kind of stand out.
Now, you are standing out. I like that. And our first guest today is Barry Baird, and he is the boating officer for District 32 with TWRA. So, Barry, great to have you here this morning.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. You know, you probably heard me and Bruce talking a little bit, you know. I'm a big boater, and you see so many unsafe things on the water, you know, that I'm so glad you're here and you can kind of talk a little bit about the waterways and some of the dangers and things. So,
I mean, we're into the boating season now, well in it. I mean, just because summer started a few days ago doesn't mean we haven't had boating season going on for a month or so, you know. But really, the beginning of Memorial Day weekend is kind of the kickoff.
Right.
And the thing people really don't realize a lot of times is we really see an increase in boating traffic on the Tennessee waterways around this time of the year. Anytime you have an increase in traffic with other environmental factors, weather, large waves, and a lot of boats in, you know, a couple of isolated areas, you may have an increase in boating accidents or incidents. And that's typical this time of the year. And we encourage people to, you know, be cautious, and we'll go over a few safety tips that we kind of you know, recommend and talk about a few other things. But just need to be aware of the number of boats that are on the water this time of year.
Yeah.
And also be aware that there's a lot of people who don't really know their boat and know what equipment's required and know how to operate and know to have a safe lookout at all times and those type of things.
Right. You know, it's amazing to me too that, you know, people that do get on a boat and don't really have any kind of, you know, safety classes or learning or orientation classes. You know, it's just like a car. You have to know how to drive that car. So, you know, we were mentioning I took the boating test last week. I've been around boats all my life. You know, but there were still things on that test I had no clue.
You weren't required to take it, but you did anyways. I mean, there's good information on the test, even if you're not required to take it. Anybody born before January 1st, 1989 doesn't have to have it.
Right.
If you're born after January 1st, 1989, you have to have the test. And we recommend that everybody that's going to get out and boat, you know, take the test. It's got some great information. I've taken it myself, and it's got good information on it.
Well, and the other thing I like is, and if you're a boat owner, be aware of this, you could get a discount on your boat insurance if you take the test and pass the test. So it's well worth it, you know, not even just for that. And it only costs $10 to get the permit to take the test. So go ahead and take it. Why not?
Why not?
I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. And it was really something good for me and my daughter to do together. She's been around boats all of her life too, and she's probably a better boat driver than I am. But, you know, she's just a natural. But I know she had to have it, and it's just given her even more of a sense of freedom. So
it also, I think it allows you to know your boat. I think, in my opinion, the safety, you know, practicing safe and responsible boating starts at home. Before you even leave it to go out on the water. You need to know, like I say again, you need to know your boat. You know, check your trailer, check the tires, make sure it's going to pull properly so you can, you know, pull it to and from the boat access areas. And also check your boat, check your steering cables, check the bilge pump, check your batteries, make sure they're charged up so you won't be stranded on congested water. That's not good. And even it's the responsibility of the operator to know where the safety equipment is and how to access it and everything on the vessel, but it's also very responsible to have your passengers aware of where all the safety equipment is. We run into it all the time. Well, either the equipment may be on the vessel, but they do not know a lot of times where it is. It might take them 5 minutes to show us 2 or 3 life jackets. Don't know where the fire extinguisher, and don't know where the Type 4 throwable is at. And if the operator doesn't know it, chances are the passengers don't know it. But I mean, if your passengers know it, time is important on the water. If an accident were to happen and a passenger can get to a fire extinguisher or a throwable or anything before the operator can, that literally can mean the difference between life and death.
Literally.
Yes.
You know, you probably heard Bruce and I talking too, like about the jet ski that was so close to our boat yesterday. Oh, it just infuriated me.
In congested waters like there are on like Chickamauga Lake.
Right.
In any of the marinas, I mean, you're going to have that because you have so many vessels. We just need the people on the jet skis to be aware of that. You can't jump the wake of another vessel within 100 feet. Okay, and you can't weave in and out of boats in congested areas, and you can't operate the vessels too close to swimming areas. And all those are reckless operation and are are citable offenses.
Now, how many TWRA officers, are in the district?
We have
here?
around 27 officers total.
Okay.
And you're responsible for the Tennessee River or like Parksville Lake? Or
Any waterways
waterway.
really
the
within
state?
Tennessee, period, but in this primary area, Parksville Lake, Hiawassee, Chickamauga, Nickajack, those are the primary areas. Anything on the Tennessee River really is the primary focus, but we focus on all waterways.
Okay. All right. What do you think the most, I guess not popular, or the most frequent ticket or infraction that you would write? Not most popular.
well,
I didn't say that.
So, when we're on the water, we're focusing.
Yeah, exactly.
We're focusing primarily on safety violations. I mean,
Okay.
we really, we're looking for anything that's a violation, but primarily safety. That's what our main concern is when we're on the water, and that's, we have this time of the year. It's basically not having the safety equipment. We also run into boating under the influence this time of the year, which is a major issue on Tennessee waters, and it's something we are full force about.
Good.
We don't cut any brakes on boating under the influence. And we recommend not to have any alcohol at all on your boat. And if you're going to have some, please be responsible. Think of the safety of your family and the safety of other families.
Right.
And have a designated driver. There's no reason not to.
Right. It's it's just the same as in a car. Why would you not?
Well, in my opinion, it's worse because of the stressors. The sun can have an impact on how you're able to move and how you kind of perceive distances and your minute skills as far as operating vessels. The sun, the wind, if the weather's bad, the current of the water, the waves, congested areas. It's hard enough to operate on the water as congested as some of our lakes are when you're not under the influence of anything. But if you are, it makes it a lot more difficult.
Yeah, it does.
And you guys are not, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I was going to say it's a major problem on our waterways. Like I say, we're in full force.
Yeah.
Enforcing the law, boating under the influence.
And I think people don't take the rules seriously. In addition to that, speed, operating safely. I mean, deaths happen on the water. You hear about them frequently.
Sure you do.
Everybody assumes it cannot happen to me. It can happen.
It can.
To anyone, you've got to be as safe as you can, and then just hope the person operating the other boat's being safe as well.
Sure. That's another
And so
thing.
you guys are protecting lives, and I don't think people always appreciate that.
Well, they go out with kind of the laid-back attitude. You're going out to enjoy yourself on the water.
Exactly.
You're laid-back kind of,
Right.
don't care type attitude, but that can turn bad very quick.
It can turn deadly very quickly.
Oh,
And as an operator of a boat, I will never forget the morning. It was a Sunday morning, and my husband and I, we didn't go to church that day, sorry. But we were going down the river. It was beautiful that morning. No other boats around, really. It was just, which is my favorite time on the water, when it's
And the
quiet.
water's glassy, nice.
It's nice and glassy,
Yeah.
and you can go skiing, and got really nice water. And, on the Hiawassee, you really have to watch for logs, especially this year. They're bad this year.
Yeah, they are.
But my husband was driving, and he didn't see this until he was right up on it. He thought it was a log, and he cut. It was somebody swimming across the channel without a life jacket on. And we almost hit him because we didn't see him till we were right up on him. We found we saw a TWRA officer and knew him, so we stopped and talked to him, and he went over to him and said, "Please put on a life jacket so when somebody does hit you, it will make it easier for me to find you." Because it's just think,
Sure.
just think about what you're doing.
That's why I say it all starts kind of before you even get on the water.
Before you
Just
get
think
on the
about it.
water.
I mean, it is common sense. I mean, there's some of it that you need to know certain regulations as
Right.
far as safety equipment for your particular boat.
Right.
Whatever size, length it may be, your type of boat has different regulations. But as far as wearing a life jacket, in my opinion, anytime you step on the water, or if you get on the water, you need to wear your life jacket.
Yeah.
And that's just a personal opinion of mine. I mean, it's not required that you wear it at all times if you're over the age of 12, but my opinion, you need to.
You just need to wear it.
Yeah.
And if Michelle's in her big 300 horsepower boat and I'm in my little paddle boat, what are some rules of the road as we're meeting?
Well, there's a lot of rules of the road as far as if you're overtaking a vessel, if you're meeting a vessel, and we provide documents where operators can learn those type of rules of the road, navigation rules. But that's very important. But they need to know, operators, that you're responsible for your wake as well. whatever wake your boat puts off, you're responsible. So if you have a no-wake zone, your boat's producing a wake, and something happens, that you're responsible for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you just need to, that's what we always say, keep a safe lookout. Keep a safe and proper lookout. Not just looking in front of the boat or behind the boat, 360 degrees. You know, always keep an eye of what's around you.
So don't swamp my rowboat with your yacht.
No, I will not swamp it. We don't even have a yacht. I got a nice little ski boat, older model, competition ski boat that I love dearly. Love dearly.
It's basically being courteous too. I mean, where do you have to go? You have to be that quick.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Be courteous. That's like you say, it's common sense.
Well, and I'll tell you, gas is way too expensive on the water to just go wide open
Sure,
and use
sure.
it all. So I want to be able to enjoy it for a while and not just use it all very quickly. Of course, my kids are doing a really good job of using all my gas this summer, especially now that Emily got her license. I come home, or I say go home, I go to the river and the boat's not even there.
Right.
It's already out on the water.
And it's a
so.
little trickier to find gas along the river now too, I believe, for a boat. So
It is.
something-
It
It's kinda tricky.
is.
You have to know exactly where they're at, or you'll be stranded.
Yeah.
We get that quite a bit as well.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about the logs. You know that in the
that's
Hiwassee especially. I don't know as much about the other waterways, but
it's bad everywhere.
the debris has really been bad in the waterways this year.
It has been. It's because of the rain primarily. You know, anytime it rains like it had, the dams will generate, and that causes the debris to kind of break loose and
Yeah.
go downstream.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening really on the Tennessee River system and on the Hiwassee. I was on Hiwassee Saturday, and it was bad. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of trees. I mean, large
Yeah.
trees floating in the water. If you hit that, you're going X mile per hour. I mean, you could sink your boat. I mean,
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, I mean there was a whole tree that was in the channel that was hung on one of the channel markers.
And another thing, you know, if you pass a tree when you're going, say, up or down river, and decide to turn around and come back, that tree may not be in the same area. So you may think, well, what's up here around the bend? It may have floated down if you're going back upriver, so you may run into it in another location. It's just,
And I know they've been running the turbines quite a bit up river. I think it's what it's called. I don't know. I had to download an app on my phone for my husband since he does trout fish, so I can tell him what the best times to go fishing is.
okay.
Yeah, he'll say, "What are they running tomorrow and what times?" And I'm like, I have to pull it up because he has what he calls his dumb phone. He says he will never have a phone that's smarter than him. So so I pulled it up. But I thought that was really cool.
It is.
Because, you know, even as a boater, you can know where to, how long can you sit in one spot? Because yesterday we were flying.
There's a TVA app that tells you the general water flow.
Right.
And that requires you to know a little bit about cubic feet per second. But if you look it up, and if you go on the water one day and it's whatever cubic feet per second, then you kind of get an idea of what that is. So you can look on it again and say, oh, it's this much higher, so and it's generating higher. But you need to know that, and I always recommend knowing the weather before you go out. That's a big deal, because any minute a storm could blow in. And we've had numerous boats sunk, turned over, capsized because of weather that came through. And it's an open river. Chickamauga's got a lot of places on it, and I keep saying Chickamauga because it's the primary, river that we have the most issues with. But at any minute a storm can blow in, and it's wide open. If it's a good wind coming, anything over 10 mile an hour, that's a pretty big wind. You start getting up to pushing 20, you've got a real problem if you get out on the lake.
Yeah, the water can really get rough very quickly.
Wow.
Now the Chickamauga, I think it was the Chickamauga that's the #1 fishing river. Is that the one we were talking about last week?
It's hard to say. Chickamauga's really came on bass fishing wise.
Okay.
We've had a Florida strain bass we've stocked in the past, and it's starting to really take on it. There's a lot of good lakes. Guntersville, there's a portion of it in Tennessee, but Guntersville's a big lake in Alabama. That's, it's big in the southeast.
Right.
But Chickamauga's came on this year. There's been a lot of big stringers of bass, reported, and it's a big destination for bass fishermen all over the United States.
I think Chris was talking about that when he spoke to Kiwanis last week. Chris Combs, a guy that spoke to us, and I was just thinking that's really probably just made boats from everywhere,
Right.
and those bass boats.
Well, people need to remember too, this is a multiple use waterway. We've got bass anglers, we've got people recreational boating, we've got kayakers. It's a numerous amount of different type of boating going on, and they be courteous to each other, because everybody just wants to get out and enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the primary. Deal. They just want to enjoy themselves, and we recommend everybody get out and do that, but Now, beyond all, we want them to practice safe and responsible boating.
Yes, safe and responsible. And
Yes.
guys, I have to tell you all, I appreciate what you guys do. I know you don't hear that enough. I know you get, it's kind of like when you get pulled over by the state troopers and you're doing 90 on the interstate and you shouldn't be. No, that's never happened to me. But, these guys are just doing their jobs. They want to keep you safe. They want to keep their own families safe. So, respect them if they pull you over. Hey, I'll tell you the last time I got pulled over, it was at night, and we had our light in the front of the boat, and it caused a glare, so we couldn't see really where we were going. So I had, smart one here, use common sense, had one of those plastic kind of see-through koozies, but it was orange. So I put it over it so you could, you could still see the light. You could still see the light, but it just cut the glare down so I could see if I was going to hit a log. Well, apparently you can't do that.
You've ever used a koozie to focus your beam.
Apparently you can't do that. So I just considered that lesson learned. But they're just trying to keep us safe.
That's another issue, is the lighting requirements.
Yeah.
You need to have your light, you're running, the appropriate lights on at night.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know you can't have a dimmer on them. They've got to be seen, the all-around 360 light, which is the big white light, has to be seen for 2 miles for 360 degrees. So you can't have a dimmer on it. And not only at nighttime, but in different conditions, if it's dark outside, because of the weather coming through, you need to have that on, or foggy, or whatever the case is, you need to have your lights on.
Oh, yeah.
That's very
How about
important.
for the night fishermen then? Are they just supposed to be parked? You're talking about when
you have to have there's different lights from when you're anchored, moored, or aground, or if you're underway.
Okay.
Okay. And if you're anchored, moored, or aground, a 360-degree light needs to be on.
Yeah.
A white light, all-around white light. If
Not
you're
covered with an orange plastic koozie.
If you're moving, if you're underway, which is if you're not anchored, moored, or aground, if you're underway at all, you don't have to be driving the vessel to be considered underway. But if you're underway, you need to have your front lights on, the green and red lights, and the all-around white light. You need to have those on, and you can't have any other lights on. You're allowed to scan with a light to see where you're going, or to scan buoys, but you cannot have it on to distinguish. We need to be able to distinguish the difference between the green, red, and white light.
And the white.
Not a giant spotlight.
And I didn't understand that till I took the test.
Yeah, there you go.
Then I got it. Or until I sort of understood it when I covered it with the orange plastic koozie. But it worked. So we moved our light. It's in the back now so we can see. Well, Barry, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we can get you on here again, or get one of your
we'd love
buddies on here, and we can talk about trout fishing. My husband, I'm sure, would be here for that show. So, but again, thank you for coming. And guys, remember, safe boating. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Are you having trouble filing for disability?
Seems no one is concerned about your pain, the waiting, the denials.
While some representatives will meet with you in court, We will meet with you now to discuss your plan. We'll review with you the same file that the judges will see. Call us now. Social Security Law Center at Logan Thompson.
You're entitled to better.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Good morning and welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning. I am absolutely so excited to have Chuck McSpadden with Apple Valley Farms with us. Look at this. Do these not look wonderful?
Yum.
Oh, they smell so good. Fried apple pies. Man. I love fried apple pies.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Welcome to the show.
They thought we were
Thank you for having
teasing,
me.
but just to show we were not kidding. Look how beautiful these are, folks.
Perfect. You know, this is something I can't make either.
You don't have to. Just come see us.
Just come see you. There you go. See, this is great. So tell me a little bit about, I think I've been there once before, but it's been a long time since I've been there. So tell me a little bit about
Apple Valley?
About Apple Valley.
Well, actually, I'll just start from the beginning. Our orchard actually started by accident. My dad was working at Sears in Chattanooga, and he was managing, I guess, what you call the garden department. They sold lawnmowers and fencing and fruit trees. And one year they had 2 apple trees left over, so he bought those and set in the backyard. Got up to 30 or 40 apple trees, and when I was a kid, we had peaches and plums and nectarines and cherries and grapes and just about anything he could grow in this area we had in the backyard. Our backyard, as Mom said, just kept getting bigger and bigger. But we had, 30 or 40 apple trees, and my mom told my dad one morning, she said, well, you enjoy your hobby so much, fooling with your apple trees, because that's what he did on his day off. He'd fool with the fruit trees. He said, why don't you buy you a bunch more? Now, to this day, she'll tell you she meant maybe 30 or 40. And the next day, he bought 400.
That's called lack of communication.
Yes.
I love that story. That is great.
So he set the 400 more, and I guess at this point, we're probably somewhere between 16,000 to 18,000 trees.
Oh my gosh. I knew it was huge, but I didn't realize there were that many trees there.
Well, we're getting there, a little larger every year.
Well, now, and you have different types of apples too.
Yes, we've actually, I've got a couple of varieties that are non-bearing, but right now I have 31 varieties planted.
Oh, wow.
So when they all come into production, we'll start picking, probably around the 1st of July and finish picking sometime early November.
See, I didn't even realize there were that many different types of apples.
It's unreal, isn't it?
Oh, there are actually like 7,000 or 8,000 different varieties across the world.
See, I guess you only see the few that are in the grocery store, and I guess it's just the limited, What's your favorite?
Well, now that's really hard.
I stumped him on a question. I'm sorry.
Can I cut it down to maybe 2 or 3?
Yes.
I like Senshu, which is a Japanese variety. Very sweet, sweeter than any other variety that we grow.
Okay.
And extremely juicy. It actually just drips when you bite it.
Oh, wow.
And then I like Gold Rush, which is a later season variety, which is more tart.
Okay.
And it stays crisp a really long time. You can keep it in your refrigerator for 6 or 8 months and it's still crisp.
Wow.
That's probably my 2 favorites.
Those are your 2 favorites.
And since you make the best pies, for example, since you aren't eating your pie.
Since you aren't eating your pie.
Your early varieties, and you'll start picking when?
Well, this year the season's actually going to be a little later than normal because the spring was later. So we're going to start probably early August, 1st of August picking.
I guess the rain and the odd spring we had this year, I guess it really did affect you guys, didn't it?
It did, but it seems lately every spring has been kind of odd.
Yeah.
It's really too early or too late or too cold or, the weather's never normal anymore.
No.
Whatever normal is.
Yeah.
But, the bloom was a little later this year than it has been in the past 2 or 3 years, so harvest will be later.
I can imagine that is absolutely beautiful when all the apple trees start blooming.
Oh, yes. I mean, you can be at a distance and you can just smell the aroma of all the
I
blossoms.
bet you can. I bet you can. I know I work for Wellington Place in Clearbridge, and I know our residents have come
Yes.
and taken the rides that you guys do, and that's always really fun. They really enjoy
They seem
that.
to have a good time
They
with
do. They do.
When do you guys offer the rides usually?
Well, actually, we book like group tours during the week, if in September and October, and then just anyone wants to come with their family, we do those on Saturday and Sunday afternoons at like 2 and 4.
Is this usually September?
September and October,
Okay.
because once we get past October, there won't be any fruit hanging on the tree, so kind of not really a very good ride to go through the orchard.
you go out in the orchard.
Apples hanging.
Yeah, we go. Well, and I went with Leadership Cleveland. I do remember that. I went with Leadership Cleveland, and we were picking the apples off as we went.
Yeah.
They were really good. I do love apples, but I mean, you know, the fact that you guys make these and sell them there is just, I love that.
You guys just do the pies, or?
Well, I mean, fried pies are our #1 product out of the bakery. You know, and apples are #1, but we also do peach and blueberry and cherry and apricot, but and blackberry some years. But we also do apple fritters and apple dumplings and apple cider donuts and.
Apple cider donuts.
Oh yeah, you use donuts, but instead of using water in the mix, you use apple cider.
Wow. We need to make a trip. Hey, we need to do. Where's Joe? Joe, we need to do like, you know, a show there. We need to go there and do the show. I don't know that we'd get a whole lot of taping. We might get some eating done, but not an actual show. So, but you make your own apple cider, and you make. See, that is awesome. That is really neat.
Yeah, we've been making cider, I guess going on 30 years.
Now, how many employees? Is it all family that runs the orchard, or?
No, actually, I have 3 full-time employees during year-round that helps me with the orchard part. And then when we get into the fall, we hire folks, you know, for the kitchen and for the orchard, and then also for doing school tours. So probably by the fall, with full and part-time, we've got 18 to 20 people.
Oh, see, that's great. I like that.
And see, my parents' church, you know, of course, my parents are from North Georgia, and they were traveling all the way to LJ. And I said, why on earth are you guys going all the way over there when you've got a wonderful orchard right here in Cleveland? And they've started coming to Chuck's every fall and love it. Nothing wrong with the LJ orchards.
Well, no, they're all good friends of mine over there.
Yeah, they're good people too. But, you know, you've got it right here in Cleveland.
Right here.
You know, the bakery, the apple cider and the apples. And did we ask about, what are the most popular varieties? We know your favorites. What about your clients? What are they, customers, what do they like to eat?
We sell a lot of Stamen wine saps.
Ooh, I like wine saps.
Oh, yeah.
Golden Delicious is still very popular, even though it's an older variety. Fuji, Pink Lady, and Gala. That's probably our most popular varieties.
That is incredible.
And then Honeycrisp is really becoming popular.
See, I need to go and get one of each kind of apple, you know, and try and see the differences, because I guess my knowledge is so limited on the different varieties.
Well, see, we have a sample case there. You can sample each one and see what you like.
And see which one you
know,
like.
we don't have 30 varieties all at one time.
Right.
But as they're ripening, there's sometimes we'll have 4 or 5, and then later in the season we may have 8 or 10 varieties ready at one time.
Wow.
See, that sounds incredible. I think we need to make a trip
Yes,
over there
I
and
think
just
so.
do,
I think so.
you know, try the
you
different
get more
apples.
varieties. They're locally grown, and then also, you know, versus like your super centers.
Right.
And of course, some of the groceries here sell yours also. But you've got such a wide variety. I'm not a fan of Red Delicious, for example. I just don't like Red Delicious apples. My wife doesn't like them either. But we love the Pink Ladies that you were talking about. And of course, Debbie always has to have, is it Mutsu? Mutsu. And the Fujis. And we have to have those every year. But I tell you something, Michelle, too, that Apple Valley has unique. They actually patented their own variety.
Really?
Yes. Several years ago, I was out in the orchard and looking at the Gala variety of apples, seeing when they'd be ripe. And I noticed one tree that the apples were very different from any of the others. In fact, it was just part of the tree. The apples were twice as large as any of the other Galas. And I said, could be a freak of nature, just one of those things. I marked the tree and went on, but noticed the same thing next year. The apples were much larger. And we got where we sampled it, and we noticed they were much juicier and a little different, sweeter than the regular Galas. And so we contacted a nursery and started going through the paperwork and actually you have to fruit that. You have to take a piece of bud off that tree and graft it and grow another generation of tree to make sure it'll still be that same type.
Right.
And we ended up getting a patent on it. We actually sell the apples as Caitlin Gala. But we named it after my daughter. Actually, my dad demanded that it had to be named after his granddaughter.
You didn't get a choice in that.
No, I had no
did you?
choice in that. So we actually licensed Stark Brothers Nursery out in Missouri, and they're probably the most famous apple tree nursery in the world. They sold the first Red Delicious trees. They sold the first Golden Delicious trees.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, do you sell Granny Smith? Do you
Yes,
have
we grow Granny Smith.
I love Granny Smith apples and pies.
Yes.
But now you were saying the sweet one, the Japanese type.
Matsu.
Matsu.
That makes a good pie apple. Actually, if you go to a restaurant, probably 65-70% of the time it's actually Golden Delicious. Because it'll hold its shape well. And they don't have to use as much sugar because Golden has some natural sweetness to it.
Okay. All right. My mother-in-law makes a very, very, very good homemade apple pie. So I think I might get her some. I'll come out and get some apples when you have them, and that'll encourage her to make me one. Now she makes a lot of apple preserves too. So I guess how do you sell your apples? By the bushel or by
bushels, or we actually have smaller amounts, like a peck, which is like a fourth of a bushel, roughly 10 pounds.
Okay.
And just smaller amounts than that.
Okay.
And actually, for a lot of folks, we still have a lot of folks that make applesauce and put up, and we have a what we call a number 2 grade apple that's not quite as pretty, a little rougher finish but we sell it at a cheaper price, and that's what we sell a lot of just for folks making applesauce or apple pie filling or whatever.
Yeah, because they don't have to be really pretty to make a good
once
apple
they're
pie.
peeled, what difference does it make?
Exactly. See, that makes perfect sense. This is really interesting. I'm really excited, and I love these. I'm just so now. They make these fresh. I mean, they cut them up.
Yes, when we're open. Actually, our fried apple pies, we use a dried apple.
Okay.
That's how my grandparents and great-grandparents did, and so that's just sort of a tradition. We use it, and that's probably a regional tradition in this area too. They use a dried apple in their fried pies.
I remember growing up as a kid, my grandmother would put a sheet or something in like the back window of a car, and the sun coming down would dry the apples on the sheet.
Oh yes.
And how do you guys dry yours?
Well, ours is machine dried.
You're machine dried.
Yeah,
okay.
Just to do the volume. There's no way we could just.
I was going to say,
not
you
to mention with the insects and all, it'd be kind of hard.
Yeah, of course, a lot of things that you do when you're kids, eating mud and that kind of things, you would never do now, but. But yeah, I remember my grandmother doing that and making these, and they were so good. Now my mother-in-law makes a really good fried apple pie, and it's so funny. My brother-in-law, my husband's twin brother, it never fails. The minute my mother-in-law takes the first one out of the skillet, he pulls in the driveway. It is the strangest thing that has happened.
Got that radar going on.
It's we call it the apple pie radar, the fried apple pie radar. So that is just neat. So what are your hours?
Well, we'll open up July 20th this year. We're not open right now, but we'll be open Monday through Saturday from 9 to 6, and then Sundays from 12 to 6.
Okay. And then your tours will start in the fall.
Yeah, start in September.
Okay. And then so you'll just be picking applesauce.
That's what we tend to do.
And which end of the world are you guys at? In Bradley County, y'all are south of Cleveland, or?
Yeah, we're in the southeastern part of the county.
Okay. How would they? What is your address? So if anybody wanted to go out.
Okay, it's 351 Weiss Road, Southeast, Cleveland.
And what number? And do you have a website?
Yes, applevalleyorchard.com.
There you go.
Easy enough.
Easy enough. That is absolutely wonderful. Well, Chuck, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to enjoy these fried apple pies.
Well, thank you for having me.
And I look forward to coming out and visiting with you. So everybody enjoy fried apple pie, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Town Americana, where trucks are big and bold, and a handshake is firm, and your word is gold. Don Ledford Chevy Buick GMC in Athens is a $2,000 drive. Maybe you're coming from here or here, doesn't matter. Buying a truck from Don Ledford in Athens will save you at least $2,000. Don't let for Chevy Buick GMC in Athens, a $2,000 drive worth making.
I'll take that drive every time.
At Crawford Pharmacy, we offer custom compounding. Our pharmacists are known for their attention to detail and unique expertise. So visit us at 2260 Chambliss Avenue, Cleveland, Tennessee. For personal assistance, walk right in or come up to our convenient drive-thru. Crawford Pharmacy, serving our community one person at a time.
Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast in Cleveland, is the place to find quality pre-owned cars and trucks. Kyle offers on-the-spot financing on all vehicles on the lot. Each pre-owned vehicle goes through a complete inspection to make sure each car and truck meets the Kyle Motors standard. Warranty and extended warranties available on all vehicles. Kyle Motors will sell you a car or truck that you will be proud to drive for many years to come. See Tony, Bill, Dale, James, or David and let them put you in your next quality pre-owned vehicle. Kyle Motors, 802 20th Street Southeast. Phone 790-7100.
Are you having trouble filing for disability?
Seems no one is concerned about your pain, the waiting, the denials.
While some representatives will meet with you in court, we will meet with you now to discuss your plan. We'll review with you the same file that the judges will see. Call us now. Social Security Law Center at Logan Thompson.
You're entitled to better.
This segment of Tennessee Valley This Morning is brought to you by Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland and 2120 Chapman Road, Chattanooga. For your next new or previously owned vehicle, make it Crown Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, the better way to buy.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley This Morning. We've got a few more minutes, and as you can tell, during the break, I've been enjoying this fried apple pie. And this is so incredibly good. I love the filling.
You don't
in
need the
here.
rest of that here. I got my help.
Yeah, back up off my fried apple pie there, Bruce. These are really great. Guys, if you haven't been to Apple Valley Orchard, you need to go.
Oh,
you
yes.
really need to go. I'm already planning on what I'm going to get and what I'm going to do with them.
Well, I tell you something else you can do, Michelle. You get that hot July day, and you go out for apples, and you're thinking, oh boy, and then you walk in, and you get out of the car, and it's hot, and you're like, man, I want something cold. Not only does Chuck have cider fresh, homemade,
right,
but you also have frozen cider. You going to do that this year?
Yeah, we have a slushy machine. We use our apple cider in that. It's frozen apple slushy.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's about 27 degrees when you drink it. So, I mean, it's really, get that brain freeze if you drink it too fast.
Oh, the brain freeze. You love the brain freeze in the summer, just right here.
Or if that's not your thing, come and get a hot apple pie and get some ice cream on it.
Ice cream on it. I was just thinking this needs some vanilla ice cream to go with it. But that is so good.
This is perfect breakfast, though.
Yeah. Now, my hips are not going to like it at all. But.
Oh, I'll love it. My stomach will love it.
Oh, this is just great. And how long have you guys been? You said your dad started.
My dad started. We've been, I guess this will be our 41st year in business.
See, that is incredible. And there's so many things in the Cleveland and Bradley County area that I think everybody just doesn't know about. Like you were talking about the farms in LJ. Yeah, that's great, but we've got it here.
Yes.
Let's support our local businesses.
I will never forget one time in the spring, Chuck and I had really just become friends, and I'm watching one of the local weather stations. He knows what store I'm going to already, and it's freezing cold outside.
Yeah.
And the Chattanooga meteorologist says, and by the way, if you have an apple orchard, now's the time to send the helicopter. And I was like, Chuck had mentioned something, but you sometimes have used a helicopter to prevent freezing, haven't you? Can you believe that?
How do you? Okay.
Well, actually, when we have frost or freeze in the spring, sometimes there's what's called an air inversion, which means that 50 to 100 feet up the air is warmer.
Okay.
So what you do is you get a helicopter and you just have him fly over slowly at night, you know, and that air mixes, and it warms up the air right on the ground, you know, where your trees are.
I would have never known. That is awesome.
The first time we did that, I know my neighbors were really appreciative of it. But, you know,
they thought you were being like
actually,
SWAT team or something.
Actually, one of the county cops came by and laughed and said, you know, the 911 had got a call about, said, well, no, if there was an escaped convict. So,
because this is like 2 or 3 in the morning. Isn't it?
We'll run from like 10:30, 11 at night, and then we'll run till daylight. So,
oh, my word.
Yeah.
But I had to have him tell you, because you would have never believed me. You'd have thought, oh, yeah, right, Bruce.
But yeah, I mean, we've done that 2 or 3 times. You know.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. You know, and I guess you really have to be worried about that.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
I mean, that's your living, that's your crop for the year. And, you know,
Yeah.
some years it works depending on if there's warm air up there, and there's some years it doesn't because there's nothing.
Is there anything else you can do to prevent
Well,
the
actually,
freezing?
we could put in irrigation and just cover them with ice, basically, keep the water pumping. And that's our goal someday, is to be able to do that and
Right.
just protect the crop that way with irrigation.
Yeah.
But that's kind of expensive.
That is, I would say that is kind of expensive.
But so is not having a crop.
Yes.
So you know, we're going to get there one of these days.
You kind of have to weigh the odds there, don't you? You know, I tell you, I admire, you know, anyone who can grow. I do not have a green thumb at all. I've never been good at it. You know, I had a garden a couple of years, and 3 years. The first year it was good. The second year it was eaten by deer. The third year it was eaten by deer in like one weekend.
Wow.
Well, the whole weekend. So I was like, forget it. I'll buy my beans. But, you know, anybody who can take a tree and let it grow and it produce something, that's just amazing to me. I guess because I don't have that talent.
Oh, and you see when he's first pruned, I'm like, Chuck, you're killing the trees. What's going on? But
Yeah.
you have to cut them pretty good, don't you?
Yes, you do. I mean, they need to be within their certain size limit anyway. You know, limbs can get too long and break if they crop up, and actually when you prune them, especially when we prune them hard like we do, it's actually sort of invigorating them. You know, it's sort of like fertilizing almost. You cut them back and it invigorates the tree.
Wow, I didn't know
Makes them want to grow a little more.
Yes.
Yeah, my dad had a really good green thumb, so he told me everything. I just can't do it. I don't know what it is.
I have a green shirt. Does that
Yeah,
count?
you do have a green shirt. There you go.
Very loud. Can you hear it at home? You can probably hear it.
Yeah, it is pretty loud.
We got a
but
little
I do
Christmassy
like
thing
it.
going on here too with the green and red.
Yeah, you
so-
do. It does look kind of like
You have
Christmas.
to have me back in the wintertime.
That's right.
And we'll have you back in the fall. How does
Okay.
that sound? Because I want to hear, and I know our residents will come again because they absolutely love, you know, coming to visit. And it's just, I know for school groups, it's great too.
Oh
so.
yes, we've already started booking school groups.
Good.
You know,
And on the web, Apple Valley Orchard.
.com.
Is it
Apple-
orchard or orchards?
Orchard.
Orchard.com.
Singular, not plural. All right. Again, thank you for being on. I can't wait to finish this. I won't eat on TV in front of you guys. Bruce, thank you again for being my
Had a
co-host.
great time as always,
great
Michelle.
to have you here.
Yes.
And thanks again to Barry with TWRA for coming and talking to us about boating safety. You guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and we will see you next time on Tennessee Valley This Morning. Thanks.
Bye-bye.